I'm going to tell you the number one way to overcome adversity in fatherhood. Obviously, you can relay it to your personal adversity as well, but we're just going to stick to fatherhood adversity. So, what is fatherhood adversity? First of all, it can come in many different shapes and forms, right? Whether you're single dad, whether you have a spouse, or whether you're co parenting. So I'm a co-parenting dad, and some of my fatherhood adversity, right, can come through communication. It can come in the form of um, schedule conflicts. Oftentimes I feel like my life is in chaos. So that's another way of, looking at um, fatherhood adversity. We can take it deeper, and it can come in the form of feeling misunderstood, feeling underappreciated, feeling undervalued. Societal expectations are so overwhelming. It could come with feeling like you got a strain with your relationship with your children, with your relationship with your spouse, with your co parent. Um, so, fatherhood adversity takes many, many shapes and forms. Um, the best way to manage, because you'll never, one thing we got to understand is, and I feel like a lot of self-help people and books, they kind of almost give you the idea that you're going to transcend adversity, like you're going to like overcome it. That is never going to be the case, right? You're never going to just never deal with adversity ever. um, But what you can do is be able to better manage adversity. I think that's the important thing here, is to know that you will always face up against adversity because it's actually meant to happen to you, right? If I didn't face, 3 year custody battle, feeling underappreciated as a dad, up and down with work, corporate America, and then eventually coming out on the other side, how would I be able to help you if I didn't face that adversity, right? How am I going to continue to help people in the future if I don't go through anything? So adversity is actually a good thing, right? That's another thing. You want to look at adversity as it's meant to happen to you. It's like a soul contract for you. It's like we want you to help as many people as possible. So you're going to have to go through this thing. And I think what happens is people sometimes don't know how to navigate adversity, and then it can kind of spiral. So, going back to the number one way to better manage fatherhood adversity, and this is going to get deeper than you would probably assume, but this is the calling I'm speaking. I'm just like, this is flowing through me. So initially you may think it's something as simple as journaling, meditating, self-care. These things are so important after you've realized the first thing the thing I'm going to tell you. So don't let anybody tell you meditating and journaling. I mean, I created an entire journal for dad. So don't let anybody tell you that won't help you. Oh, it will help you significantly. But these self-care practices and reflection practices and stillness will truly be more impactful after after you've realized, or at least get a grasp or understanding of this next thing. So what is that thing? I'm gonna try to like dumb it down as much as I can, but while still being authentic, in this space. And that thing is, you want to realize your true nature. So what that means is, like, who who am I, like, prior to who the world told me I was, right? Like, my name is Odini, but clearly, like, I would still be a presence if my name was John. Okay, cool. Um, 6'3" black dude, but clearly I would still be a presence if I was 6'3" white dude, 6'3" Asian dude, right? All right. I'm a dad, right? Like that's a role I play. So all of these things are what you want to acknowledge, and this is how we communicate with each other. It's how we make a living. It's how we, you know, form bonds. But you don't want to be so attached to these things, because what happens is when we go through adversity, we automatically get caught up in the roles we play, and we almost like attach ourselves to the adversity, to the emotion, right? So for example, I for a long time in fatherhood um, struggled with wanting my son to see what I was going through beneath the cape, right? So obviously he sees me as like superhero dad, and I do all the things, but I was going through a really rough time emotionally because of a custody battle. And that then led into my finances, right? So how do I show up as superhero dad while I'm actively going through like the toughest financial and emotional time of my life, right? How do I show up that way? And I struggled with that for like a decent amount of time until I realized, you know what? I'm only struggling with that because it's almost like I want him to look at me as the role I'm playing. And I'm like so much more than the role I'm playing. You are so much more than the role you're playing in this like physical dimension. And that leads me to the next thing is, once I realized, and I mean, logically this can make sense to people, but it really is more impactful if you sit with this over time and actually experience it for yourself, right? Understanding something is completely different than experiencing something. So we can read something in a book, we can watch something in class, and we can understand it logically. That makes sense. But it's not going to hit the same. It really won't hit the same unless you can feel like I'm experientially going through this. And what I have experienced and what has helped me is for me to realize that who I am at my core is just like consciousness, right? Like, because when I'm gone, my soul will live on, and it might just like inhibit another soul, right? Another body, another physical body. But who I am at my core is perfectly fine because I'm just like energy, right? And um, what comes with energy being transferable, right? So for not for 1 second should I be attached to, I don't have any money, I'm somebody that's broke. Not for 1 second should I be attached to, oh, I get so angry when this happens in fatherhood. I get so when this happens with my kids. I shouldn't be attached to that. What I should be attached to is knowing that I'm just awareness. I'm just like ever flowing consciousness that is being aware of these things that's happening. That's the game changer. I promise you, before I started realizing this, I took my struggles as a dad so much more to heart. And obviously, when you're like wrapped up in a tornado, it's like the adversity and the emotions you feel with it, it's like a tornado, right? And what you don't want to do is jump inside the tornado. And that's what most of us do. We like jump inside the tornado. What you want to do is just like see the tornado. Because obviously, if I can see the storm, I can better prepare for the storm than actually being in the storm and my house is now like in the sky and I'm in the sky with it, right? I just want to like, that can sound very insensitive to people who actually have experience being in these these nature crisis. So I just want to preface that. I apologize for that. But the point I'm trying to make is, the analogy I'm trying to say is, we are much better able to manage adversity in fatherhood once we are able to look at the adversity from afar rather than feeling like we are in it, like we are the, I'm angry, I don't have any money, I don't communicate well. Like, these are all things you're going through based off of your past experiences. But if you realize all you are is just like ever flowing energy, ever flowing consciousness, you'll be able to manage this at these adversities so much better. I promise you. I promise you. Like, I mean, the more and more I get into this channel, I'll be even more vulnerable about my life, and I'll be more vulnerable about the things that I've gone through. And I promise you, like, these things I've gone through initially had me not even wanting to like eat food, had me not wanting to like clean my room, had me not wanting to show up for my kids, until I was really able to realize that I am much bigger, much bigger than what I'm giving myself credit for. I'm much bigger than what the universe is telling me I am. Every time I record a video, there's like a huge bumblebee that just finds my foot. And but I'm gonna just trust nature here. Look at that. Wow. All right. Whew. Anyway, yeah, man, that's really like the point of this message, is just to let you know that you have to somehow find a way to sit still, to realize that all the things that are bothering you, all the adversity that's you're facing, is good, right? Sounds weird, but it's very good because it's teaching you. It's a lesson. But you also have to realize that this adversity, these emotions, are not who you truly are. You're just like you're just like looking at it. You're aware of it. That's your true nature. Once you realize that, you'll be so much better off when it comes to managing the adversity, right? So, quick recap. Uh, Adversity is good, right? It's good. It's because without it, you wouldn't be able to help others. That's essentially why it's good. Um, Everything is about helping others, right? Uh, B, you have to realize that the emotions and the frustrations that come with adversity, uh, that's not you. Don't don't associate yourself with it. Associate yourself with the presence that's looking at it. And the third thing is, what is the third thing? Oh, the third thing is, once you have that understanding, once you have that experience, then the the broadband tools such as the journaling and the meditating and the breath work, that's when that stuff is like profound, right? So that's all I got to say. And man, I'm just like so grateful to be able to come on here and like give this information authentically. I don't even like write anything down on note cards. I just like tap in with source, and I'm just like flow through me. And this is what happened today. So if it helps one person, I've done my job. So hope y'all have a good day, man.